Developing Leadership in the Workplace, created by Tessa Plata. Leadership is a common and very desirable attribute for managers and CEOs in companies. But what does it mean to be a leader, and how does one get the necessary qualities to become a good leader? The Organization Development Network, ODN, advocates in training leaders, CEOs, managers, and employees of an organization through a process called organizational development. This process includes how to become better leaders and to grow employee skills that will ultimately benefit the organization. The use of organizational development training conducted by the ODN would benefit from including more aspects of the workplace, like leading by example and awareness of gender roles within the workplace. The leadership roles within the workplace vary, and thus the skills that are necessary for leaders will vary as well. In an article by Robert Patter, Cultural Leadership Raising the Level, Part 1, he describes a leader as someone who can react quickly to a changing environment. A leader will know how to prepare for situations and create workable plans. This is one aspect that is addressed in organizational training. Hatter's article was more focused on the safety in the workplace, but with years of experience in large corporations, he has seen what works best in an effective work environment. In an article by Andrea Adams, she describes that the workplace environments have changed in recent years. She explains that the roles of CEOs and managers have shifted and grown in the number of responsibilities. Adams describes his role as leading the company, but leaders need to further provide the employees with a vision, present and future, for the organization while managing for uncertainty of the future. Adams has over 20 years of experience in human resources, organizational development, and strategy. Larry Crow also has experience internationally with companies, but also with major companies such as American Express and Coca-Cola. He is focused more in his article about the struggles that managers face and how training can help leaders within an organization meet the needs of its employees. The ODN understands that there is a need for training to occur to help the organizations be effective in a changing business environment. These three authors all approach the idea of leadership differently. They all point out different skills that leaders need to be successful in the workplace. Mainly that leaders need to plan, execute, and prepare for uncertainty in organizations. Some of the organizational development training conducted by the ODN addresses many of these leadership qualities desired in an effective work environment discussed within the articles. The Organization Development Network takes the different aspects that help make up a great leader and focuses on training within a company to gain full access to all the skills available within employees and the organization. The ODN addresses problems within the company by restructuring and reworking with the positions of employees needed during the organizational development training process. To meet an effective change in the organization's work environment, the organization needs to create definite roles and responsibilities of all employees, especially if they are leaders within the organization. The ODN focuses its training on influencing the structure of the company to make sure that the organization is getting the most of all employee skills. The overall goal for organizational development training is to help get an organization prepared with a strong structural base that includes all roles of the employees that help the organization to meet change effectively. One of the main parts of the organizational development training is to focus on a strong structural base that gets the most of all the employee skills. The mission statement of the ODN is to help employees of an organization take ideas, plan them, and turn them into workable concepts and creative, innovative solutions with the resources available. Another part of the organizational development is establishing plans and starting implementations in the work environment when this time is necessary for event or emergencies within the organization. This idea directly correlates with the idea discussed in Patter's article about leadership. The development of plans is key for an organization to work effectively, but these plans will vary due to differences in organizations. For example, the plans for emergencies that are established within companies can and will often vary to meet the differing safety needs of the company, especially if it's a manufacturing company compared to a marketing company. This makes it difficult to establish a concrete training program of executing organizational development that covers all aspects of the workplace when all workplaces are different. This means that only a plan will work for some organizations. There is not one plan that could work for all differing aspects of the workplace. Based on the training plan established by the ODN, they only address certain aspects of the workplace. The ODN fails to address the problems within the work environment when it comes to employees leading by example within the workplace. Patter emphasizes that workplaces need to have leaders that can react to events. Frequently, events can change quickly, and leaders need to work with employees to react in the best manner to be effective. He emphasized that leaders should be the one to step up and encourage changes. The ODN lists their goals and objectives that address other aspects of building leadership, expand values, and practices. This focus is more on an internal focus on building the organization up, rather than having one person lead a task or vision. In another article by Patter, Strategies for Leading Engagement Part 2, emphasizes that leaders need to take ideas, reinvent them, or even jumpstart ideas. This article builds off the idea of leaders taking initiative in the workplace and leading employees with new ideas. Another way to explain this is leading by example. The ODN does discuss the use of establishing new plans and a strong base for an organization. The ODN does have a focus on creating an environment that can create plans, but it fails to share how to implement them. This is a glaring error in the training program that will result in an organization that can create plans but has no one to lead them. There is an outline for creating plans and using resources, but there's no discussion who will be executing plans when established. Also, a key aspect of a leader is awareness of the future. Leaders need to know how to plan for right now with a strong base with plans and expectations, but they also need to know what to do for future events. Patter states that companies benefit from a leader who knows how to step up and lead. After that, they need to take the plans and help create the vision that will lead the organization. Leaders need to know how to deal with the future and lead the organization in a positive light. This requires a leader who can plan for current events, training covered by the ODN, but also the future, which is not covered by the ODN training. This is a key point that the ODN fails to address in creating an effective work environment through organizational development training. To make organizational development training more effective, the ODN should include how leaders can take a vision, make it positive, and lead a company by their own example based on a new vision for the company. The ODN addresses the creation of a structural base in their training program. This would benefit from including how to create a vision and how leaders can lead by example to create an effective workspace. Another flaw of the organizational development training fails to address are the roles of women within the workplace and the inequality that is often created when women take on leadership roles. The ODN states in one of its objectives that it is striving to make sure that they are inclusive in terms of race, gender, sexual orientation, economic class, education, and experience. They also state that they seek that there are leadership opportunities for all. There is no specific training or a statement of how they will provide these equal opportunities to different types of employees. This does not fully address the situation of women's roles within the workplace and the obstacles women will face. In an article entitled Factors Relating to Managerial Stereotypes, when employees were given the option of a male or female leader, male characteristics and male leaders are preferable in a workplace, according to survey results. These preferences can shift slightly when there are female leaders present, but the article by Stoker shows that employees in the workplace will ultimately prefer masculine characteristics. In an environment that strives to be effective, having employees have an automatic preference for certain characteristics will result in a negative and ineffective workspace. Furthermore, when a female takes a leadership role in a company and takes on more masculine characteristics to often become a better leader, she will frequently get negative feedback from other coworkers. The gender and the characteristics of a leader is an important aspect of a leader in an organization. This training would benefit from addressing the problem of gender within the workplace by changing the opinions and the support that women leaders will receive when they take on leadership roles. With negative feedback for female leaders, this causes a problem in creating an effective work environment that the ODN strives to create. The ODN needs to address what characteristics are beneficial and which ones create an ineffective work environment. By addressing the gender roles of leaders, it will strengthen the organizational development training process. Organizational development training conducted by the ODN fails to address some aspects of leadership development. The The ODN has strong emphasis on building a strong base within the organization with providing opportunities for all employees, no matter differences, to build skills that will benefit the company. The ODN focuses some of its training on taking ideas, planning them, and turning them into workable concepts. This is a great idea, but with varying work environments, a specific plan of training will not work in all environments. Gender roles are a prevalent aspect of creating an effective workplace, and with negative ideas, this fails to create the ideal environment. The use of organizational development training conducted by the ODN would benefit from including the ideas of leading by example and the awareness of gender roles within the workplace environment.